Hey, so in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the array constraint formula within your spreadsheet. So I actually use this a lot and I love this formula. Array constraint basically just takes your array of data here and it constrains it to a certain amount. So you can either do it by column or by row, but it helps you restrict your information even if you have more than that what would fit. It restricts it, can't speak today, so that it's only within the range that you want to put it in. So for example, I have my task list, my due dates, and my status, and I have a whole bunch in here. I have 5 different tasks, but I've actually taken those specific numbers and I've constrained it so it only fits in the 3 rows that I have here. So we've done that. So if I have any more in here, it will just restrain to those 3. So this is great if you have like a dashboard and you're doing filtered data there and you want to make sure it only fits within that specific thing. So you might have 10 results, but if you can only fit 3 in that specific area, you want to make sure it fits that, because otherwise that excess data is going to overspill and it's going to affect any of the cells below your specific widget. So this is very useful to have and I will use it a lot. And then I have an option over here and I will show you how you can actually nest a whole bunch of formulas in here. So I'm going to show you quickly, but we have a sort formula in here as well as a filter formula in here. So I'm going to show you how you can kind of nest them all together so that way you can filter out specific data. You can also sort it by A to Z, or if you want it by date, and then you can also constrain those results to fit only within the section that you want to fit it in. So we are going to play around with that, but our example here I'm just going to get rid of because we're just going to do a basic array constraint so I can show you what it does. So again, we've got our data here. We've got 5 different options. We can add in a 6 if we want. So let's put in task 6. And let's say we're going to do it as March 8th. And so again, I want to have this data, but maybe I only have a small amount of space. So like my best example is on a dashboard. If I have a widget that's pulling up upcoming tasks, or just tasks in general, I just want to show the first 3 of them, then I'm going to use the array constraint. We're going to talk about filtering later on, but so my example here is I'm going to select the very first top left corner cell, and then I'm going to put in equals. We're going to put in array. So I like just typing it in and then selecting it because you do have to put in an underscore as well as spell it correctly. And if you don't spell the formula correctly, it doesn't work. And I'm just really bad at typing. So I usually just start typing an array and then I will select it here. It will automatically put in my left bracket here and it's asking the input range. And then it's going to ask the number of rows and the number of columns. So I can select the entire range here. And then I'm going to put a comma. It's going to ask me number of rows. So I only have 3 rows available. So I'm going to put a 3. And then I'm going to put a comma and it's going to ask me number of columns. Now I have 3 columns in this area. So I'm going to put a 3 here. And then I'm going to put a right bracket and hit enter. So it's only going to pull up the first 3 results. And it's going to limit it to those 3 columns in the 3 rows. Now, if I just want to do 1 column, I could do that as well. So let me just copy over this little thing. I'm just going to copy the formatting over. So we have that pretty little section here, and I'm just going to put in task. So what if I only wanted to show, and actually let me just merge these so that way it looks nice and big. There we go. What if I only want to filter in the task name instead of all 3 columns? I can easily do that. So I'm going to do equals array constraint. So I'm going to click on array constraint. I'm going to select the entire range here. Or I can just select one, but like we're doing this because we have an entire range here. I'm going to do a comma. Now it's going to ask me my number of rows. I have 3 available, so I'm going to do 3. And then it's going to ask me number of columns. I'm just going to put in 1 and then a right bracket. And as you can see, it's only going to bring in, even though I've selected a range of cells, it's only going to show the first column. So you can get really specific and nitty gritty into what actually shows. So this is just one great option here. Just add that. Okay. So now let's come over here, and this is where we're going to add in our filter, our sort, and our array constraint. Now you don't have to do all 3, but I'm just showing how you can nest in different formulas together and control exactly what is shown. So I'm going to delete out this, for example, but let's say I want to show only the tasks that are due today. And then maybe I want to sort them, or not due today. Hold on. Because the sort wouldn't work with that. If it's only showing today's date, then you can't really sort it. I mean, we could sort it by task name. So let me just switch task names so they're out of order. Because normally when you do an array constraint, it will just show it exactly how it's set up here. Or when you do a filter, it just shows up exactly how it's set up here. But we wanted to create some kind of filter. So I want to show you that we can filter it. So we're going to do tasks that are due today. But I want to do this as task 7. And this one as task, let's do 3 here. There you go. So you can see it's out of order, and it's going to pull up task 1 and then the different tasks here, but I want it to show in order. So sorry, I just had to arrange some data there for it. But let's come over here, and we're going to, in our top left corner of the range where we want it to show, we're going to do equals. And I'm going to start off with my filters. So usually what I start off with is the very first formula that I'm going to use, which is filter. Then I will sort that filter, because remember, we want to choose the range of data first. So we're filtering our data. We want that to be the range that the sort is sorted by, and then we want to constrain that. So that's why I start at filter first. So I'm just going to put equals filter. So I'm going to select my range of cells here, and then I'm going to put a comma. It's going to ask me my condition, and I'm going to say status is today. So I'm going to select the range that has my statuses. I'm going to do equals, and then in quotation marks, I'm going to put due today. And then I'm going to put in my right brackets. Yeah, because I don't want any more conditions. Basically, that's the filter I want to show. So if I hit enter, you can see it spills out because I have 4 different tasks that are due today, but I only have space for 3. So it's filtering out below it. And if I have other formulas down here, it's going to affect those. So I want to constrain it. But I also, because I like the sort filter, I do want to sort my task names so they're actually in alphabetical order. So we're going to sort that first. So I'm going to select the cell that has my formula in it. So in between, let me just zoom in a bit so we can see a little bit better. Sometimes it's hard to see. Woohoo, there we go. All right, so I'm going to double click in where my filter formula is. Now in between the equal sign and the filter, I'm going to put a left bracket to separate it, but now I'm going to use my arrow key to move me in between my equal sign and my left bracket, and I'm going to write in sort. So this is my sort formula. I'm now going to go to the very end because the filter formula is my range. So I've already got that. So I'm going to go to the end of my formula. I'm going to do the comma. And now it's going to ask me my sort column. Now, because I want to sort it by task name, I'm going to use column 1, but if you want to do it by due date, let's say, for example, you're doing upcoming tasks and they all have different due dates, then you can sort it by column 2, which is where your due dates are. So it's up to you and what you want to sort. There's many different ways you can sort things, but you want to choose the column where that information is. And then we want to answer the question, is it ascending? So is it A to Z, where we show alphabetized? Oh man, I can't pronounce that word. I'm so horrible at that. If it's alphabetized from A to Z or from Z to A. So if it's descending, it'll be Z to A or Z to A, however you want to pronounce it. Or if you want it ascending, which is A to Z. So I'm going to do ascending, so I'm going to put in true, but you're going to put in false if you want to do from Z to A. And so now I could put in my right bracket and hit enter, and it's going to sort all my tasks. So it's just alphabetizing them by task name. So I got task 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's adjusting any of the information here. But again, we still are spilling over. So now we need to add our array constraint to our data. So into our filter, or not our filter, into our formula we go. And so in between the equal sign and the sort formula, I'm going to put my left bracket, and then I'm going to use my arrow key to move me over so I'm in between the equal sign and my left bracket. And now we're going to start writing in array constraint. Again, I just usually click on it once it shows up. And we've got our input range already in there. So now I'm going to go to the very right corner, the right side of our formula. I'm going to put in our comma, and now I'm going to say the number of rows and number of columns. So again, we only have room for 3 columns, so I'm going to put in a 3, and then I'm going to leave the columns as 3 as well because I have that data. Now, if I only wanted to show the 1 column, I could just put 1 column or 2 columns, but for this one, we have the task, the due date, and the status showing, so I want to make sure all 3 is there. But the most important thing is to add the number of rows. So how many rows do you want it to show? So I want 3 to show, so I'm going to hit enter now. Oh, get out of there, hit enter. And as you can see, it's cleaned it up, and it's only going to show the top 3. So and it's sorting it by task name. So once I change the due date of task 1, it's going to disappear, and then the next result, if there is one, will show. So for example, if I go to task 1 and I change the date to, let's say, the 18th, it now shows task 3, 5, and 7. So that task automatically disappeared because it's no longer due today. Now, if I was to hide task 7, let's say, and let's say we are going to make it overdue, you can see it's only going to show the ones that are due today, but if there's any blanks, it just shows blank. So it's nice. It controls exactly what shows inside of your spreadsheets or inside of the area that you want it to show. And then the last thing I'm going to quickly show you, because if we have nothing that is due today, so let me just change all these dates to be something else. Then we've got an error. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to add an if error in there to fix the way this looks. So because with the filter formula, if it's not finding any of those details, we're going to use the if error formula to help that. Because it's just saying, hey, we're not finding any filtered results. So here's an error, but there's not really an error. It's just saying, hey, we can't find anything. So I'm going to add an if error in between the equal sign and our array formula. So I'm going to do if error, then our left bracket. Then I'm going to go all the way to the right side. I'm going to put a comma. And so if you need to see what we're doing, now I'm going to show the value if there is an error. And this is where you can actually put in quotation marks and just type whatever you want it to say. So I'm going to say no matches found, quotation mark, and then our right bracket. So you could say whatever you want. You could put emojis. You can have fun with it if you want. But if there's an error because there's no matched results from the filter, then I just wanted to show no matches found, and that's what it's going to say. So it kind of cleans up my data a little bit. So that's how you do that. But yeah, so this is the array constraint. This is how we can control how much data is showing up in our specific areas. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. Hey, if you're brand new to Google Sheets and you want to learn for free all the basics of Google Sheets, please join my free mini course, the Wild Heart Spreadsheet Academy. So you'll up level your skills and learn what you need to know in order to create beautiful spreadsheets. Plus, I have tutorials in there showing you how to create a cute weekly planner, and you'll also receive a free custom GPT to help you decide on your first 5 spreadsheet ideas. So check that out. It's completely free. I'll link it below. Thank you so much. I'll catch you later.